so great to see you on another episode of SCFG Live, Science Club for Girls Live. I'm Hannah from Science Club for Girls, and Mr. Music will be in shortly. He keeps having to teach music, but don't worry, he'll be in soon because he needs to help me with the game later on. Anyway, I'm so glad you could come for another episode. Today, we're exploring smell. But before that, let's talk about last week. Last week was an awesome episode where we got to explore the brain. That's right. Our brain is super, super cool. In fact, we learned so much about the brain, including the fact that it's part of the nervous system, which is also made up of our spinal cord and all of the neurons that run like highways around our body, sending messages throughout. We also learned that the brain was divided up into three main sections. The cerebrum, which is in charge of our voluntary movements, like me talking right now and looking at the camera and moving my hands. The cerebellum, which is in charge of our balance. And the brainstem, which is in charge of those involuntary movements, like breathing and your heart beating. Super, super important things. We then took a deeper dive into the cerebrum by making brain hats. Did anyone get a chance to make their own brain hat at home? If you didn't, be sure to go back to last week's episode because in the comments, I linked the really cool template for these hats. Now, from our brain hat, we saw that the cerebrum was divided up into smaller parts, each part responsible for a different task, like working together as a team to make the brain work. We then saw how our reaction time, we tested our reaction time using a ruler. Remember, we dropped the ruler and tried to catch it as fast as we could? We saw, though, that as we practiced and went through more trials, we actually got better. And our reaction time was a lot faster. And that's because we were building what's called muscle memory. We were creating new neural connections between our brain and making our brain stronger, kind of like working out our brain at the gym. And this actually was really cool because this week, I got kind of frustrated when I was trying a difficult math problem, as I'm sure everyone's kind of experienced. And usually when I'm frustrated, I'm just like, oh, I might as well just give up. But I kind of thought, wait, maybe this is a way to make my brain stronger. Maybe if I struggle through this math problem and keep trying and try different strategies and continue to do similar math problems, I might be able to make my brain even stronger and build those new neural connections. So now, instead of being like, I'm not smart enough to do this, I'm going to think, you know what? I'm going to make my brain smarter by making those new neural connections and struggling and practicing. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. Anyway, we also learned that the brain is really important in allowing our five senses to work perfectly. Our five senses. What were those five senses? I know someone who might be able to help us out. Let's bring in Dr. Marbles. Hey, Dr. Marbles.
Hey, Hannah.
How are you?
Hi, scientists. How am I? I'm great, because I'm here with you.
That's awesome. We're so glad that you're back with us.
Oh, me too. Hey, Hannah, you know, I was listening to what you were saying about the brain and working out and not seeing things as so much of a struggle, but instead like your brain getting stronger. And I love that idea. You know, next time I get frustrated, I'm going to think about my brain just getting stronger each time. You know what I've been doing?
What have you been doing, Dr. Marbles?
What do you mean, what have I been doing? I've been memorizing numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Super difficult. Watch this. Watch this.
Okay.
1, 7, 6, 8, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 7, 7, 7, 6.
Do those numbers mean anything, or you just wanted to memorize those numbers?
Just saying numbers randomly, but my brain is going to get better and better at remembering those numbers.
That's very true.
There were a lot of twos.
There were. There definitely were. Now, Dr. Marbles, speaking of struggling, I was actually kind of struggling with something myself, and that was remembering what our five senses are. We talked about it last week, but it's just not coming to mind. Can you help us out?
Definitely.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go through them.
Okay.
Sight.
Yep.
Touch.
Yep.
Hearing.
Right.
And taste.
Right.
Ah.
There's one more.
Oh, I know that. What could it be? Oh, I know. Smell.
That's right. That's right. And thank you for remembering that one, because that is what today's episode is about. Today we're going to focus specifically on smell, because I love smell.
My favorite sense, smell.
Exactly. Well, Dr. Marbles, what was I going to say? I don't know.
I'll tell you what I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
I was going to talk about Louie.
Oh, yes. What about Louie, Dr. Marbles?
Well, I'll tell you, you mentioned smell, and I can't help but think of Lou. Because Lou, he smells everything. He's constantly smelling. And you know what I read? I started reading about this, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Turns out, oh yeah, there you go. Dogs.
Yeah.
Right. They smell, their sense of smell is like almost 100,000 as strong as ours, as humans.
Wow. That's amazing.
No wonder Louis smelling everything.
That's so true. And I remember when I took Louis for a walk, I could not get anywhere because he had to smell every single part of the ground.
Yep. Hey, Hannah, do you think that we could tell smells apart like dogs could?
Well, although humans aren't as good about telling different smells apart as dogs are, humans can still tell the difference between over 1 trillion smells. And that's a big number because that's basically how many stars are in our galaxy, which is crazy. But it's really important because we need to definitely tell the difference between what's pizza and what's trash, right? Or what's watermelon and what's a rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very
Let me tell you, that's a huge number.
It is.
Are humans that good?
Well, let's take a look and test it out, shall we?
Yep. Let's do it.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right. So for this experiment, you're going to need a couple of different things. Now, the great thing about this experiment is that you can really adapt it to whatever you have at home. So you basically need 2 foods that look very similar to each other. Oh, wait, wrong experiment. I'm sorry. So today we're actually going to play a game to tell the difference between smells, which again is also very easy and can also be adapted to what you have at home. So what you will need though are some index cards, some glue, and different spices or herbs. Now you can also use different soaps or different shampoos or really whatever you have available that has a strong smell. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your index card and put some glue on it. You'll wanna do this to 2 index cards. Just a little bit of glue, like that. And do that to the other one as well. Boop, 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 boop. Cool. Then what you'll do is sprinkle your cards with some spices. I'm going to do cinnamon because I love the smell of cinnamon. Sprinkle it on and it will stick to the glue. You might need to just kind of shake it out a little bit over a tray or over a plate. And do that to the other card as well. Cool. Now we have a matching pair of smell cards. You'll want to repeat this process with all of your different spices and herbs. Now, it's obviously going to take some time to dry, so I have some cards ready. I've made cards for cinnamon, garlic, and curry. They all have very different smells, which is good for this game because you're going to be able to tell which smell is which. All right, now to play the game. I'm going to need a partner to play this game, so Mr. Music! Oh, I'm so glad he's back in time. He always makes it just in time. All right, Mr. Music, you ready to play a game? He said yes. Now, here are the rules of the game. If you've ever played a matching game before, it's very similar. I'm going to lay my cards out face down and mix them around. All right, so I have 2 of each. Mr. Music, there's 2 cards of garlic, 2 cards of cinnamon, and 2 cards of curry. And your job is to try and find the match. Sound good? I'll demonstrate first. All right. Now we can only use our sense of smell for this game. So let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to try this card. I think that might be garlic. That has a very garlicky smell. All right, let's try another one. That's not garlic. I think that might be curry. All right, that wasn't a match, so I'm going to have to put them back where they were. Mr. Music, it's your turn. All right, let's see. He's trying this one. That's the same one I picked. Take a smell. No, you can still choose that one. All right, do you think that was curry? He thinks it was curry. Okay, now he needs to try and find the matching curry smell. Which one are you going to go for? Oh, take a smell. Do you think that was curry? You do? You got a match. Nice job. Now we would keep playing this to see who has the most matches and who had the best sense of smell. That was pretty cool. Now I always wonder if a dog came in here and tried to play this game, they might be a little bit better because as Dr. Marble said, dogs have a pretty good sense of smell. Now, how did we distinguish those smells apart? How are Mr. Music, I almost called you Dr. Music. How are Mr. Music and I able to tell which cards were curry, which cards were cinnamon, and which cards were garlic? Well, there's a really cool science behind this, so let's take a look. All right, so what happens is when you smell something, you're actually smelling molecules that have been released from that thing and into the air. Now, each smell is made up of different molecules, and that's why smells smell different. Now, once those molecules in the air go into your nose, when you take a big breath, there are certain things in your nose called olfactory neurons that are kind of like, or olfactory receptors that are kind of looking out for certain molecules. And once they detect them, they send a message through olfactory neurons all the way to your brain. And that helps to identify what you were smelling. It's pretty cool. Here's a more closer up image of olfactory neurons. Now, the cool thing is that those olfactory neurons connect to a part of your brain called the olfactory bulb. And it's actually right up here. You can see where it says smell. In the temporal lobe. We talked about last week how the temporal lobe is really, really important for all of our senses. And that includes smell. Now, the cool thing too is that there are also parts of the brain that communicate with each other. So when the olfactory bulb up here gets a smell or gets a message from the neuron, it will sometimes then communicate with other parts of the brain, which is sometimes why you have memories associated with smell. Like whenever I smell tomato sauce, I always think of my mom's house because she makes great tomato sauce. So smells are really important to create those memories. Smells are also really important because we need to know if something smells good or if something smells bad. Like when we smell fire, we usually are like, oh no, there must be danger around, and our body reacts accordingly. But if we smell something yummy, like cake, for example, we are happy and excited and sometimes get really hungry all of a sudden. Pretty cool. All right, well, let's take a look at something else, actually. What would happen if we didn't have our sense of smell? What if all of a sudden our sense of smell went away? Let's see. So for this experiment, you'll need a blindfold. You'll also need 2 different types of food that look similar but taste different. So for this, I'm going to use a lemon and a lime. And I'm also going to use 2 different types of yogurt because they have a similar texture. They taste different. I have strawberry yogurt and I have coconut. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to put a blindfold on and plug your nose. Then you're going to taste one of these foods and try to figure out, which food was I tasting? Now, before we do this, let's make a prediction. Do you think I'll be able to tell the difference between 2 foods without using my sense of smell? Let's go to Dr. Marbles for a segment we love to call
Prediction Chicken! Prediction Chicken!
my favorite. There we go. He's out of practice. It's been a week.
Prediction Chicken.
Yes. All right,
So-
Dr. Marbles, we're going to do an experiment. I'm going to try 2 different foods, but I'm not going to be able to use my sense of smell to taste those foods. Do you think I'm going to be able to tell the difference between the 2 foods?
You know, well, if I just think quickly about it, I would say you've got your mouth for taste.
Right.
You cover your nose. Well, I'm going to guess it doesn't make a difference.
Right, because I still have my sense of taste, right?
Yeah, you got your mouth.
Let's take a look.
Let's check it out.
All right, so I'm going to need a helper again, which is Mr. Music. And for this, I'm going to put a blindfold on. And actually, Dr. Marbles, can I bring you back?
Yes!
Great. I forgot that I'm going to need your help because I'm going to have a blindfold on, so I'm not going to know if my guesses are correct. Can you
No problem.
Can you let me know if I'm like good or not so good?
My pleasure.
All
you
right.
know what, Hannah?
Yeah?
When you say, I'll see you later, I just stay here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you like go do something.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, here we go. Blindfold on.
Okay.
Mr. Music, we're going to start with the lime or the lemon. So he's going to feed me one of them and show it to the camera so everyone at home can see. And then I'm going to take a guess. I hope it's not too sour. All right, here we go. Okay. Let me know when to open it.
This is kind of funny.
Is it coming? Is it near my mouth? Where is it?
It's not near your mouth yet.
Okay, can you see? There we go. All right.
Here it comes.
Oh, wait, I forgot to hold my nose. The experiment. Oh. All right, now let's try it. Okay, I was like, that was too easy. All right, here we go.
That was really.
Dr. Marbles, you're supposed to tell me not to do that.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. All right, I'm ready. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Was that the lemon?
Guess again.
Was it the lime?
It was the lime, Hannah.
Oh my
the
gosh, I
lime.
really couldn't taste it. I think that was really hard. Okay. Now let's try the 2 yogurts. Feed me food over there.
Now I'm getting a bit confused.
Why are you confused, Dr. Marbles?
Why are you struggling? You were able to taste with your mouth.
I don't know.
Looks like you may need your nose.
Huh. All right, well, let's see. Maybe the yogurt's different. Is it coming? Did you show them what kind of yogurt?
They did. I love yogurt.
Me too. All right, is it coming? I'm ready. Let's go. Enough with the noise, Mr. Music. You don't always need to make music. Where the hell?
It's all over her face.
Was it strawberry? Was it strawberry?
Yep.
Woo! I did it right, and there is yogurt all over my face. Oh my gosh! Thank you, music. I'm asking someone else. Wait. All right, so Dr. Marbles, it's not that funny.
Oh my gosh.
That was interesting. Well, it seems like it was kind of difficult for me to tell which food was which I wasn't expecting, and neither were you, Dr. Marbles.
It wasn't what I predicted.
Well, let's talk about it and see why that might have been, okay?
Yep.
All right, so not cake. Oops. So first off is I still did have my sense of taste, right? So I still was able to have those taste buds, which helped me to distinguish a little bit of what kind of food it was, right? So I could still, when I was tasting the lime, tell that it was sour, but I couldn't really tell if it was a lime or a lemon. Well, why was that? Well, let's think of what was being blocked. Dr. Marbles, do you remember what those cells in our nose were called that help to transmit messages to our brain?
Olfactory cells.
Exactly, right? Those olfactory neurons help to detect what molecules are hitting our nose and then send those messages to our brain. But if we block our nose, those molecules can't get in our nasal cavities, right? Our passageways. So
makes sense.
Right. And if we don't have that sense of smell, right, those molecules which help us to kind of detect what things are, then we only have kind of like half of our taste sense. So smell is really important.
You know what?
Yeah.
Now something's making total sense to me.
What's making sense?
When I'm sick,
Yeah.
my nose is stuffed, Hannah,
Yeah.
I can't taste anything.
I've had that experience too. Like I want to have food, but it doesn't taste good because it doesn't really taste like anything.
I can't taste anything.
I know. Our sense of smell is really, really important, not only to tell if something is a dangerous smell or a good smell, but also for our sense of taste as well.
Now I understand it.
Very nice. Well, Dr. Marbles, there's so much that we can learn about smell and our brain. And I thought, again, what better way than from an expert? So one of our good friends, Julie, was able to sit down with Ashley Cooper, who is a Science Club for Girls mentor, and she's also a neuroscientist. And so she was able to learn a little bit more about what Ashley loves about the brain and kind of the sense of smell in the brain and how they work together. Should we take a look?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Hi, so could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Ashley. I'm a senior currently at Harvard. I'm studying neuroscience and social anthropology, and I'm so excited to be here with everyone today. I've been doing Science Club for Girls since my freshman year at college. I first joined in fall 2017 as a mentor. Then I helped to bring the Harvard Science Club for Girls chapter back from 2018 until summer 2019. And then I've been a mentor and co-director for Science Club for Girls at Harvard, our Harvard chapter, since that time. So I really love Science Club for Girls.
All right, can you tell us a bit more about what a typical day is like as a neuroscience major?
Yeah, for sure. I really love being a neuroscience major because I get to do a lot of work with the brain and thinking about how the brain works. And I really enjoy that because I think there's so many different things that the brain influences, and we can think of even from smell to taste to even sensing that we're sitting on a chair. So it really just relates to everything in life. And so I really enjoy being able to study that at school.
So how did this interest in neuroscience start?
I think I've been fascinated by the brain since I was a child. It's a really good question. I literally have always just been so fascinated by it because I've thought about it on a big scale. I was like, I feel like the brain tells us everything about the world, but I know nothing about it. And so it was so cool going to college and really seeing that even in the field itself of neuroscience, there's still so much left to explore and discover. And so what I thought as a child still translates very well to what I'm doing right now, that I'm just trying to discover these base level things about the brain. And we're all in the field of neuroscience trying to do that. And so I really appreciated that. And I think in terms of my other concentration that I do at school with social anthropology, having both neuroscience and social anthropology has been really amazing because it also reminds me about how neuroscience affects real life issues. And I think often about how the brain influences mental health. And just thinking about that and really understanding that both in a cultural perspective and within just thinking about the brain and all the cool things the brain does, like we talked about before with sense, taste, perception. It's really been cool to see those two fields combined.
All right, and final question, what advice do you have for the young viewers out there?
I would advise them to just go after their heart's desire because I never thought I really could do neuroscience, even though I was really passionate about it. I was kind of nervous and worried and didn't always feel like I fit into who could be a scientist or what people thought of as a scientist or someone trying to study science. But I was really encouraged by mentors like those that we find in Science Club for Girls. And so I really think that being in a Science Club for Girls community is such a beautiful foundation to really believe in yourself and just try to keep that belief in yourself because you truly can do this and you truly are going to be change makers and really inform the new directions that we're going in every field of the world. And so just keep that belief that you really can do this.
Cool. Dr. Marbles, are you there? That was awesome, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Really, really cool.
Well, just another example of where someone starts, young girl starts at Science Club for Girls. She does experiments, she learns science, she grows up, and then she turns into this incredibly smart student at Harvard.
Right.
It's really incredible.
It's really cool.
These are like Ashley's like one of the next leaders in this field. And the other thing that I really liked that she said, she talked about social anthropology, and she talked about people's mental state, like how they feel. And we talked about the five senses, and we talked about touch and that, like, the physical feel.
Right.
But the other thing the brain does that's incredible is it lets you feel emotions.
Right.
Like sometimes being super happy, like I am now.
Right.
But sometimes feeling kind of sad.
Right.
And then having a friend like you, Hannah,
Oh, thanks.
help you feel happy again. And
Right.
that's all through the brain.
It's really
And there's
cool.
so much left to learn about that.
Exactly.
So,
There's so many more neural pathways to create, you know?
so much more. We need more help.
Right.
Scientists, we need
Exactly.
more help.
Well, what I loved was that she had these questions when she was younger, and those questions like still are things that she's trying to find answers to today, which is really neat, you know?
Yep. And
Very
she
cool.
also said, like, don't let anything get in your way. Just keep moving ahead and keep
Exactly.
following your dreams and do great things.
Exactly.
So
Very cool.
really
Well,
nice to meet Ashley.
Dr. Marbles, are you done?
I
I know you like to talk.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
Okay. Well, we love to hear what you have to say. And I hope you can come back next week. It's been an awesome episode again. I need to clear the yogurt off my face, but that's good. Thanks for joining us for another episode of SCFG Live. Thank you, everyone.